Okay, let's start the meeting, March 11. And do we need a roll call?
Yep.
Okay, so everyone is here. And we have as a second item, no, do we have a little communications?
No, just one for item 10, but we can do it then.
We can do it. Okay, thank you. We do have presentation San Diego FC, whatever that is, Escondido logo artist. So go for it. What is FC?
Good afternoon, Art Commission. My name is Jennifer Shenik. I am the Director of Economic Development for the City of Escondido, and I am one of your staff liaisons for the Public Art Commission. So I wanted to share a local artist who has recently partnered with the San Diego FC and talk a little bit about this event, what it means, and share this information with you. And we are fortunate to have the artist here today, actually, with the students, Aled and Aya. And so San Diego FC is the region's new professional soccer team. So they represent all 18 cities, and the season starts in 2025. This is the first time San Diego has had a professional soccer team. And to get to know all of the different communities in San Diego, they partnered with a local artist in every city for what they call the Chrome Ball Tour. So they have a giant art sculpture of a soccer ball that is chrome. I don't know what the material is, some kind of metal. And it has different city names all over it. So they brought that art piece here to Washington Park on February 3rd for a community event. And also they did a street soccer competition. And we were very fortunate that they selected Aled and Aya to create this artwork. And I wanted to show you the promotional video they did. And then if Mr. Anaya would like to add anything, he's more than welcome to do so. But I wanted to make sure that you were aware of the art and aware of the event. So let me take a moment and switch my screen to the Instagram reel video that the professional soccer team made telling the story of this art. You can see it has over 1,000 likes. This is great. And a great example of how art helps elevate the exposure of our city.
I grew up, heavily influenced by Latin American street art and graffiti.
So I'm going to restart it from the very beginning. One moment, please.
By Latin American street art and graffiti, skateboarding culture, and all those graphics. Once you're exposed to this, you see it out in the real world and you connect to it even stronger. My name's Aled Anaya, and I was born and raised here in Escondido, California. I currently create murals and teach a graphic arts program for high school students. With the art piece that I created to represent Escondido and the thriving soccer community, like with all my artworks, I try to capture the influence of my culture. If you look at the design, you can see that there's a reference to citrus and avocados and grapes. It is, a secluded valley site, the hidden city. Escondido means hidden in Spanish. So that's a big identity of the community. I also included a reference to the area code 760, which for the longest time, before 760 came along, it was 619. So I think a huge part of the community, we identify with both, right? We're 760 North County, but we're also San Diego 619. A lot of my work is influenced by ancient Mexican design motifs, mostly indigenous references. So I try to include the pyramid at the bottom, at the base of the design. It reads Esco. And then under that is the Mayan numeral for 2024. And centered on the design is the soccer ball that I created, in my style, which I see it as it's kind of like a portal into soccer. That's my way of putting that in the center and kind of bringing it all together. Yeah, so with this Chrome Ball Tour event, it makes me extremely proud to be from Escondido. I grew up playing some soccer, through middle school, some high school, for San Diego FC to reach out and involve the community, artists, local businesses. It's a huge win for soccer in the community. So being able to give back to the community through, being an educator, it just feels amazing. I mean, just being able to empower these students with the creative tools and inspire them with some of the most amazing local artists. It's really a unique, one-of-a-kind experience for the students that I get to work with. When we were teenagers, we didn't have artist mentors to guide us through, how we can pursue this as the creative avenue, but then also as a career. And for these students to, be exposed to this and learn the path that, some of these artists took, as well as myself, it's huge. That's the next generation of creatives.
That's the overview of the video. Thank you for your time.
Lovely. I am so sorry I missed it. Was advertised in social media? I didn't get it. I didn't see it. Next time, send us an invite, an email, so we don't miss it. We should have been there. Yeah. Thank you so much. Approval of minutes. Has anybody reviewed them?
I read them.
Do you see anything that needs to be changed?
I don't. I would motion for approval.
Okay.
I'll second.
You have the one.
Okay. I think last time we were going to add to the the minutes for this time, in last time's minutes, looking at all the art projects we have around and see which ones need repairing, and I didn't see that in the minutes. It's an important thing that we take care of what we have
Yes.
before we move on to other things, or as we move on to other things. That's the only thing I saw. So, with that, go ahead.
I agree. Okay, so it needs to be added, right? Okay. Alrighty. So did we vote?
So it's open. So if you guys refresh, go ahead and vote.
Are we voting based on that alteration, or are we accepting them the way they are?
Are you saying that the minutes don't reflect something that's supposed to be on the minutes this meeting, or there was something that happened last meeting that we went over that wasn't on the minutes?
Last meeting.
So you can go ahead and then I'll make a note on the changes, and then we can send the updated minutes. When they go to be signed, it will go to Anna Marie, and so that'll
Okay.
be reflected then.
Can I ask a question? Will they be added for this time or the next time?
Well, if you're asking, because you want the stuff from last meeting to be added to those minutes, correct? Like February meeting?
Right, but it kind of takes action. I mean,
Or were you saying that there was something that you were discussing at the February meeting that wants to be on this meeting that wasn't on today's meeting agenda? I feel like that's what you're saying. So the meeting
like you're
minutes
right.
are correct, but this meeting is supposed to have an item, correct? If I'm understanding?
Yes.
Okay, so then this meeting today, we should have whatever's discussed would be reflected at next meeting with these minutes.
It probably could be postponed, but we kept postponing it so much. We really need to get on that as far as.
So I think so you're wanting to.
Can we add
You
it?
can add it to, no, you can't add it now.
Too late. It went by, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying though, if you're saying that that portion of the agenda needs to be added to today and forwarding the next agenda? As an
Right.
item, like a standing item?
Question, can we have discussion with no action?
Well, I have a question in this regard too, because one of the things that we were talking about in our subcommittee meeting with regard to the public art master plan is a plan to maintain the existing art.
Yes.
So does that need to be added to our agenda if we are addressing that in a subcommittee? And we'll bring it forward as we work through that.
We have the updates also at the end, right? The commission updates.
Correct.
So I think, so for this meeting, we'll add that item to the minutes from last meeting to make sure that it's reflected in the minutes because it was discussed last time. And we will make sure that the next meeting we have specifically addresses the current state of artwork and maintenance that's necessary for our art pieces, which is something we are addressing through the Public Art Master Plan Subcommittee and will be a part of that report as well. Is that satisfactory?
Works for me.
Okay.
I would like to ask if we could have any discussion on it today. Just a short, because I went through some of the minutes, past years, and that kept coming back
Yes.
into it. So, and some of us may not be back for the next meeting, so.
Yes, so I think that would be appropriate for the Public Art Master Plan and art solicitation process. I'll be going over just a brief summary of the process we're engaged in so far, and that would be an appropriate time to discuss that as well because it's a part of that process.
Perfect.
Yep.
Let's do that.
But I want to clarify what's not on the minutes. So like, when you're saying, oh, that wasn't reflected on the minutes from last meeting, was there supposed to be an agenda item on last meeting that wasn't on last meeting's minutes? Because I can't add that. I can add like that something's reflected, you know what I mean? And then it's not on this agenda, correct, to be an item, but Jennifer's saying you can comment on it during the master.
So under the last meeting's item that
Yeah.
discussed the art master plan, if we can add a note that there was a request for art inventory and maintenance, I think that would take care of that.
Yeah. totally.
And then, so we can amend the minutes to include that for that particular item. And then we'll also make the note today that we will discuss it during item 3. And then when we come back in May, that will be a part of the art master plan report. And the subcommittee members have noted this particular item, so we'll make sure that we work on that in the subcommittee as well.
So I don't have to put another agenda.
Okay.
Because-
Correct. Correct. Thank you.
It's really-
Just some past history. We were asked to sign up, do you remember that, for our area codes that are near particular pieces of art, so that it would be easier to monitor it?
And go ahead and save that thought, and then let's talk more about it at item 3 so that we make sure we get all your notes on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. New business.
We were going to go back and vote.
Oh, we haven't
No, that was
voted.
it's okay. I just wanted to make sure I reflected the right information. So I'm going to open it for the approval of minutes, and I do have, and if you refresh, everybody should be able to vote. And then I'll publish it. Okay, perfect.
All right. Thank you. Next item, new business, Escondido Expressions Utility Box Pilot Program. I don't know who's presenting this.
That would be me. We've got a presentation for you.
Okay.
Okay. So we are talking about the Escondido Expressions Utility Box Pilot Program. We are currently in phase 2. There were 5 artists that were selected. Currently, 3 boxes are complete. You see a quick preview there on the screen of those 3 boxes that have been completed. 1 box is currently in process, so it is being painted at the moment by the artist. We did have 1 artist withdraw from the process. That would be Julie Anthony. That location was 2nd and Center City Parkway. Now, the Escondido Expressions Subcommittee met just a couple of weeks ago, and there was a replacement artist. This is the artist. His name is Eric Olson. There is the recommendation of placing this particular artwork at the West Valley Parkway and Auto Parkway location. The reason for the placement at this particular location, rather than the original location at 2nd and Center City, is that the subcommittee felt that that particular location would be best served as more of kind of a gateway location. So maybe something along the lines of a Cruisin' Grand type theme at that particular spot. But they felt this artwork was very nice and needed to be reflective of maybe some of the restaurants or eateries in the area, and therefore that is why they chose the West Valley Parkway and Auto Parkway location. You'll note a variety of different panels there that the artist would be looking at. So we are asking that the Public Art Commission approve the artist Eric Olson to participate in the Escondido Expressions Utility Box program, basically replacing the previous artist that dropped out, and at the location that was recommended by the subcommittee.
Robert, do you have a picture of that? Of where that box?
That'd be my question exactly, because I'm having trouble locating it.
Give me just a minute and let me find a Google Maps version and I'll show you.
You know where Pyology is?
Yes.
Near there?
If you go Valley Parkway straight the other side, it's right in the corner of Auto Parkway. So it's a perfect location for that one.
And it's a big utility box and
It's a utility
traffic
box.
box.
traffic box. I like that.
It's the same size as the past traffic boxes that have been painted.
They are absolutely beautiful, by the way, and they're just little gems spread everywhere. It's wonderful. So would be.
So here is the map on your screen currently of the intersection of West Valley Parkway and Auto Parkway. So as mentioned, it is right next to Pyology. Pyology is right here. I'm going to show you a street view with the specific location, assuming it won't be blocked by a vehicle. Here is that location.
Beautiful. So it's 2 boxes. Definitely an upgrade.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love it. Any discussions about it? Could you go back to the slide with the proposal?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Any discussions on that? Any opinions? Like, not like?
I don't know. I'm trying to picture it there. But yeah, I mean, I think that area in general needs a little bit more color, so.
I actually love it. I love the hands and the different type of food, the color. We need bright spots around the city, so I would be for it 100%.
The artist may have a challenge on that front box that faces West Valley
Yeah.
Parkway, but he could have his food just pop right out, like it's being served through a drive-through.
Has the artist seen the box? Are they aware of what they're getting into?
Now, that's a good question.
Very good question.
I did communicate with the artist. The artist is aware of the specific location.
But
Whether
not the odd configuration of the box?
Whether or not he's actually been out to look at the box, I can't guarantee that, but he did reach out to me last week, and I let him know the specific location that we were looking at.
I think we have something in our agreement that says that they can't change the artwork by more than 20%. I think that we're going to have to be forgiving on this one.
Right.
Yeah.
If he picks the right food source, it'll be brilliant.
I'm not concerned. He'll come up with a creative way of figuring it out. So, anyway, so do we make a motion to approve it?
And by the way, our big request was that the ramen faces the front.
I have a question on that comment about being forgiven about the 20% change. Do we have to motion to add that into?
I brought that up when I first proposed that we do paint electric traffic boxes. And I also mentioned that artists need the ability, based on the configurations, the location, to be able to make a 20% change. We voted on it, and it was approved.
So without our approval, they can change 20% of the original design. Okay.
Yes.
Any more comments? Okay, do we have a motion to approve? Anyone?
Motion to approve.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're still in the ayes, you know, we're not used to this.
I'm sorry, I got Natalie as the first and the second is... Second, was it Ann?
She's second. And
And Natalie was first.
Yes,
Natalie.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to publish it. Should all...
Okay. And item number 3, so here we are. Before you start, can you let me know who are the 2 commissioners that are, or are there 3 commissioners that are working on this?
There are 2 commissioners.
We still have room for 1 more, right?
Correct. Yes, correct. So in this presentation, I will briefly review where we are at with the Public Art Master Plan and also the associated documents we'll need for completion. This is really just a status update since we had the first Public Art Master Plan Subcommittee meeting. So here's an overview of the process that we've completed and that we're going to continue to work on. So the subcommittee that serves as a working group to complete the Public Art Master Plan met on February 22nd, 2024, and that subcommittee consists of Commissioner Rogers and Commissioner Span. And they provided initial feedback on the draft report of the Public Art Master Plan and also input on a process to complete the report. Staff will incorporate the Commission's feedback into an updated draft. So all of the commissioners were emailed a draft from city staff with the Public Art Master Plan draft Word document. And if you have additional feedback, please email myself and staff member Robert Rhodes with your additional feedback so that we can incorporate that into the Public Art Master Plan before we release the next draft. And where we're at with our consultant is that we are almost to the end of our budget with our consultant. So we're trying to make efficient use of our time by gathering any feedback you have now, incorporating that as staff before presenting the final report to you. So as part of the finalizing this process, it was determined that we should have 2 additional community group meetings. The first will be on Wednesday, March 27, 2024 at the Ritz Theater as part of the Magic Group. So this is an arts group in town that convenes local groups, and we want to make sure that their voices are heard in this process and that they feel like their input is reflected in the Public Art Master Plan. We will take that feedback and have another meeting with the public in April, date to be determined. And then throughout this process, we will continuously meet with the subcommittee and present the final draft to the Public Art Commission in May during our normally scheduled Public Art Commission meeting. And along with the Public Art Master Plan, we want to make sure that we are also presenting to you an implementation strategy and plan as well. Because the Public Art Master Plan takes broad strokes at what public art should look like within the city, and we want to make sure that you feel like you come away with a tangible way to implement this plan as well. Along with that, we may have to update some municipal code. So currently the municipal code that governs the Public Art Commission has some vagueness to it that you may want to specify to a greater level of detail so that moving forward, what the plan is and what the implementation plan is reflected in the city's laws in the municipal code. So I wanted to just mention some identified needs, and earlier Commissioner Ryan mentioned that there is this important role of a maintenance report, so I want to get to that in a moment too, so you can talk about that. But really, some areas where the current draft was lacking is that it wasn't very inspirational, so we want to make sure to add that inspirational language into the Public Art Master Plan. so that it reflects the sentiment you're looking to have in a plan. It more clearly needs to define the city's role. It needs to really define the purpose of art within the city. What is it supposed to reflect? What is it supposed to do? It needs to explain what type of art is funded and why. Right now it's kind of ambiguous, but it could encompass a variety of things, but definitely be more specific as to when art solicitations happen. And then also our city policies related to art. Many public art master plans talk about the key foundational elements of the city's role, the city's policy role in public art, and ours does not yet do that. And also defining the role of maintenance and deaccessioning. So deaccessioning being the process if an art piece is deemed irreparable and needs to be taken down. Also, when it comes to program guidelines, it seems like many public art master plans kind of separate that broad sweeping vision for public art from the implementation of an actual program. So most cities actually have two documents, one that's inspirational and talks about policy at large, and one that's actually the implementation of a program. So I want to make sure you end up with both through this process. So again, detailing when art is funded and how. For example, if you would like a call for artist process, create a cadence for this call to artists, both big and small. So if you want $1 million piece, that's a sculpture that will stay here for many generations versus a utility box that might have a shorter lifespan in the public. And then we want to create that application process for the wide variety of types of art that you'd like to see in the community. And we also need to define how the city and the Public Art Commission interact with privately funded art and art on private property. These are issues that are currently very ambiguous with our process. And I want to work with you and get your feedback and the subcommittee's feedback on how we can more clearly define that, whether it's in the Public Art Master Plan and or in the program and implementation plan. That's all I have in terms of a presentation. I wanted to give you an update on where we are and to receive your feedback or any additional thoughts you have about the process or what the subcommittee should be looking for in this process.
Can you go back to the previous, so we can, the next one, that one, so we can see that in front of us. So, any discussions on this?
I had one clarification, if you could, Jennifer. Thank you.
Absolutely.
At present, is there, for smaller projects like murals, is there a set in place about a call to artists for, seems like we had talked about that at one time. I mean, even a piece that's going to last 10 years to get a variety of artists, that finding a place that something should go and then having the interaction of a couple artists. Is that something that's in the, before the master plan? Is that something that was implemented previously? Where are we at with that?
So that's something that won't be implemented until you approve the Public Art Master Plan and the procedure for the program guidelines. And it's interesting, staff, Robert Rhodes and I are looking at examples from different cities across the state, and many cities do not have a mural program on private buildings. There are some different models that we're researching, but for example, some cities give funds to a separate nonprofit just for murals. Some cities identify a city wall for murals that they would like funded. So we're going to come back and show you kind of what other cities are doing with respect to murals specifically. So currently we do not have a call for artists for murals, but in this process of creating a program, we hope to bring a suggestion forward to the Public Art Commission for adoption through the subcommittee.
What I do like to see is bullet number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the top, because all these past years we were told we could not address maintenance. And so today I went back into my notes and found that we talked about maintenance program public art since 2018. So I don't know where we got lost. And now we have the community piece, which is absolutely, it was vandalized. And I don't know, we need to approve something to repair. Do you have, well, we'll get to that, I hope, at some point.
I agree. I'll make one quick comment on that that reinforces, I think, what you mentioned, Commissioner, is the city needs to have a way to sustain maintenance, have a sustainable fund for maintenance, because that's what's lacking right now. And so if through this process, the Public Art Commission can adopt something that becomes a recommendation to City Council to fund ongoing maintenance, that would be one way to ensure that there is money for that long term.
In 2018, they were allotted $138,000 for maintenance. Whatever happened to that? I have to look at my notes and see how it disappeared, but it did at some point.
We will definitely research that and look to find a sustainable funding mechanism moving forward.
The only comment I have is I'd like to see more community touch points. I feel like just having 2 meetings might not be enough. So especially like ones where our Spanish-speaking families can actually come and engage. So just a thought. I think we need more touch points with the community, whether that means going to, the schools, for example. We have parent meetings there. Maybe we could collaborate with them and find opportunities there to engage about public art.
I think that's a great point, Commissioner Vargas, and we can strategize on that. I think one thing that this brief presentation fails to mention is all of the community touch points that have already happened, and I apologize for not mentioning that in this presentation. But with the consultant, what we're doing right now is just finalizing the process, and so I'll go back and make sure that we'll look at the process in greater detail with the subcommittee in terms of the touch points they've made so far, and then we'll see if that seems to be sufficient. But we definitely want to make sure the community is aware and involved. Some tools that we have to do that. One, we can post the draft. Once you feel comfortable with it, we can post it online to gather additional feedback. This is something that the city regularly does with other types of public ordinances or policies that are being launched. And then it gives an online talking tool so that each commissioner or different community members can share that information with any groups that they're aware of. So we will definitely take a closer look at that, the next subcommittee that we have. Thank you.
You mentioned March 27 in one of the MAGIC meeting. I would be out of town, so won't be here, but then you said in April, right? Sometime in April.
Correct.
Okay, so Washington Park has a wonderful community room there. And one of the things that I feel is we need to bring the Latino community into feeling that art is part of their city and their lives, and it belongs to all of us. So that would be a good place maybe to do it. And on top of what you just mentioned, putting that online, that leaves a bunch of people who are not going to check it. Right? So
absolutely, great suggestion.
Do both. Yeah. Thank you. Anything else?
Jennifer, I just wanted to thank you for taking the helm on this, and it feels like the ship is steering in the right direction. Thank you.
The creating an application process, my goodness, do we need to clarify that? You know, clearly clarify step 1, step 2, who's, yeah, that's very messy right now and unclear. That's it, we move on. Thank you so much, Jennifer. All right, Escondido Community Foundation Art Grant.
Hello, Commissioners. For this brief presentation, I wanted to update you on the process that Escondido Community Foundation is using to solicit artists and the city staff's role in this process. So an overview of the program. In the last presentation, we talked about how we're going through the process of updating the public and creating for the first time a public art master plan and a process related to that plan. So because we don't have a process right now, we are being flexible and working with the Escondido Community Foundation as they are doing a call for artists, and we'll make sure to work with them on this process. So the Escondido Community Foundation decided to fund grants for local artists. They decided to go through a process where first they issued a request for qualifications, and that was due on February 20th. So organizations and artists could come forward and showcase their existing art and state how they might be a good choice to propose a project. So the selected qualified artists were notified on March 5th of 2024. And now those artists have an opportunity to think of a project and propose it. It could be on public or private property, and this is where the city has a role. So because every location has its own unique variables, city staff is going to be meeting with every qualified artist to discuss with them what their plan is for art. We have heard that several artists may be interested in doing art on public property. So our staff member Robert Rhodes and I will be talking through the nuances of those different projects. Because right now, we would communicate something very different to someone proposing a sculpture versus someone proposing a mural. And we want to make sure that if someone does want to do art on public property, that we have the proper agreements with them. Those projects are due to the Escondido Community Foundation on May 15th. So we're meeting with all the artists in the month of March to make sure that we can give them a roadmap for success on public property and work through any details of any of these public projects. So because we don't have a clear definition of the Public Art Commission's role in art that is privately funded, Robert and I will, as we meet with the subcommittee between Public Art Commission meetings, we'll talk through each of the art instances to see if there's an instance where one should come before the Public Art Commission for approval, even though it is going to be privately funded.
Jennifer, did you explain how you came up with the various artists who are seeking approval for a grant?
So this is a complete process managed and owned by the Escondido Community Foundation. So city staff has not been involved in this process at all, other than the foundation communicating to us and wanting to be really good partners. I can tell you that they want to be this to be a catalyst for art in the city, and they want to make sure they're collaborating with the city to make this happen.
Thank you.
Now, Larry attended the last mural subcommittee meeting, left early, you remember? I'm a little bit concerned about location. In the past, the Community Foundation has placed art in areas that were really not, they were just not, what's the word? Agreed upon, or were not something we wanted to focus on. So we have one mural in the alley after Orange Street. Was in a location that anybody was looking into. The other one was the tortilleria, because they needed a wall desperately, and that's what they got. So I think even though this is privately funded, I think we need to kind of work together and support each other. not just an isolated project. The tennis, I don't know if you're aware of that tennis mural, is in Kit Carson Park inside that building that was privately funded, meaning not the foundation, that was Larry, right? Am I correct? You remember?
Larry's part of the foundation.
No, Larry funded that. He paid that. Yeah. So that is inside the tennis building, tennis court buildings at Kit Carson. But I still feel that we need to work together because, if you start dispersing pieces anywhere, you don't have the same profound effect that you can have if you're working, collaborating, like with Escondido. There's a plan. Not
May I
just
ask
me.
you, does this go before the appearance committee when they are privately funded?
Yes, it would if it's going on public property. So we want, so the appearance committee is a staff committee with staff members from Public Works, Economic Development, Engineering, Community Services, to make sure that if there are any physical concerns about the art piece from a maintenance perspective or potential vandalism perspective, that those comments are provided to the artists and considered. So it's not a compulsory approval body. It's a staff process to review potential pieces of art. So in this particular process, as Robert and I meet with each of the artists, if something really stands out on, hey, we want to put this big sculpture in the middle of Kit Carson Park or Great Day Park, one, we have to evaluate that from a staff perspective, from safety, utilities, and we might be able to work through some properties that might not be appropriate at the staff level. But then there may be some pieces that we need to bring to the Public Art Commission so that you have an awareness of what the proposals are and where the artist is proposing these projects so that you can provide feedback and input on the locations as well. And so I mentioned this in case we need to call a special meeting because we will learn about these projects in the month of March. Our next meeting isn't until May, right before the project deadline, but that timeline still may work. So I'm letting you know now in case we need to insert another meeting or perhaps meet with a subcommittee to talk through some of the options.
Thank you for explaining. Sometimes I've read through our paperwork that art has to be viewed from a sidewalk. Is that a requirement also?
So that is, so in the current municipal code language related to the Public Art Commission and the establishment of the Art Commission, it defines public art very broadly as something that is, as a piece of art that is either on public property or visible by the public. So without clear guidelines on what the approval process is for those instances where it's viewed by the public and how do we define that, it is difficult to say when something must come to Public Art Commission for approval. And in this case, as I mentioned, the Escondido Community Foundation wants to be a good partner. They want to be a good collaborator with the city. And so we'll make sure to bring any projects that seem to have significance to the city for your review. Because the grants, I believe, are only up to $10,000. I need to double check. But they're smaller grant amounts. So we'll see what type of potential projects we're talking about.
Thank you.
Yeah, I believe 10,000 was the limit. But I would like to request that that at least the commission would be notified of projects coming up and perhaps mailing the proposal just so that we are aware of. I really feel we need to work together. Just for the purpose of the topic of that mural we might be addressing too. So we need to know about this stuff, okay? Any other comments?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Even if we don't have input, if we're informed, And I think that you're saying that, but it also feels like I'm hearing that there are some we won't see.
Yes.
And if it's not in the public eye, well, I agree with that. But if it is, I think that we need to be aware of it.
Absolutely agree on that.
Yeah, that's great feedback. And I think the process we're going through right now of creating the public art master plan, defining our policies a little more clearly will help alleviate some of these questions moving forward. And that's why I'm thankful for your input today, so that you're aware of this process, that it's happening, and now we will make sure to come back with all of the art pieces, because I think then it would be interesting for you to see, so that you have an awareness. And I think it creates greater awareness for the community as well.
Frankly, there's nothing worse than someone coming up and talking about this wonderful project, and we all go, what? We don't want to be in that position.
And where? And who? Like, none of we didn't know any of this until now, so. It's exciting, but I like to be in the loop. Thank you. Any more questions? And thank you for clarifying that, Carol. That was important. All right. Let's move on. Queen Califia Subcommittee.
Okay, good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Robert Rose. I'm the Assistant Director of Community Services. And we are going to be talking about the Queen Califia Subcommittee for this particular item. So just to review some general information for you, subcommittees are formed around a particular task or area in order to make recommendations to the full commission. Subcommittees do consist of between 2 and 3 commissioners. Members of the public do not serve on subcommittees but may attend public meetings. So, as far as the Queen Califia subcommittee is concerned, it was formed on October 12, 2020, and it was, and it's currently only with one commissioner currently serves on this particular subcommittee, and that's Commissioner Span. So, some things that you will want to consider as far as the subcommittee is concerned is what recommendations are expected to be made by this particular subcommittee. You also want to take into consideration that there's limited capacity of city staff, as city staff do handle the coordination of meetings, all public meetings. So a city staff member does sit on this particular meeting as well as the other subcommittee meetings you have. In addition to that, the operations of the Queen Califia Museum outdoor garden space is primarily handled by city staff in coordination with one of our lead docents out there that include volunteer recruitment, training, scheduling, and arranging tours. And then finally, maintenance concerns just in general would be handled internally with city staff and would be brought directly to the commission for any updates and particular guidance. These are all the considerations you want to take into account when you're deciding on whether or not you want to continue having the Queen Califia subcommittee or do you want to dissolve it? So there are a couple of different available options that you have for you today. You can appoint a couple of additional members. You may appoint 1 to 2 additional members to serve on this particular subcommittee. You can dissolve the subcommittee, or you can defer action until the next meeting following commission reappointment. And I mention that because there are 4 commissioners whose terms are currently ending, and they are all up for reappointment. So that is something that you might also want to take into consideration.
A question on this. If we decide to dissolve this subcommittee now, because I understand that everybody's pretty stretched here, and we're going through a lot of reorganization. If we dissolve this committee now, are we prevented from reforming in the future?
Absolutely not. You have the ability to reform this particular subcommittee, form any additional subcommittees that you so choose. The only thing that I would ask is to, as you alluded to, taking into consideration the staff, limited capacity resources that we have available.
Yeah, I think that the Queen is so important to our city and to our public art presence. She does kind of stand on her own for now, though. I'm not sure that she needs our attention right now.
Well, I guess I am the subcommittee from the, maybe even redefining it might be a good way to do it, because as we've been doing for the last 4 years, Marty Tiedemann and myself have been meeting, unbeknownst to maybe we were doing it a little wrong, but we called ourselves a subcommittee. So with that, eyes on the Queen as a docent, was able to get numbers here, tell about junior docents, tell, some exciting things that are happening. I think that's really important to get the commission excited, to get the public excited. And there's just a lot of stuff happening at the Queen. Whether it's me or someone else, it's not that. I just think we need eyes on the Queen and maybe just redefining what it is, because I didn't think it hasn't been taking any staff time because we've been doing it wrong, obviously. But I do think that it's really important to take care of some of the problems or some of the challenges that the Queen may have, and also have I know Marty has a real good communication with the foundation, so we can bring back important points like that. I have no problem with, well, again, dissolving it. I don't believe there has been one, other than the fact that we, by name only. But I do think we need to rename it and possibly just have a report.
And we can do that, Commissioner, whereas I can provide a standard report for all the activity related to the Queen, either as a standing agenda item or as a part of liaison report at the end of the meeting. So that is something that we can do. One of the things that we'll be talking about a little bit later in the liaison report will be also, I'm providing you with information on Escondido Alley art and what the foot traffic there is, what that looks like. We can do something similar with the Queen. So instead of using the clickers that they would use down there, although I would still encourage them to use that so we know specifically, but we can also track it via, basically it's like cell phone usage.
All right.
Tricia, by any chance, do you have programs where students, high school students, can do an internship over the summer?
Last year, we had a couple of students from Calvin Christian who needed hours, and we had them engage with the children that came in with, they did little scavenger hunts, and also I gave them a sheet on just some facts about the Queen. So it's, yes, that gets them excited too. Does that answer your question?
My understanding, Robert, is if you're saying if it gets added as a recurring agenda item or a liaison report, then there's really, it'd be redundant to have a subcommittee for it, right? Because the staff is already...
Ultimately, that's your decision to make that. I'm more than happy to add either the standing agenda item or make it part of the liaison report. If after a period of time you feel maybe that's not satisfactory, you can bring back the subcommittee. There is an item a little bit later on in the agenda to talk about art education. That may be something you might want to fold into that, as Commissioner Span alluded to, maybe reinventing or redoing the subcommittee. So that could be a possibility as well.
So my question is, if Commissioner Span and let's say Marty Tiedemann, who's very active with the Queen, came up with a proposal to, what weren't you thinking about, like a concrete patio? No?
For a while.
Oh, well, but that's just an example. And that was a thought, and there was no official subcommittee. Could Commissioner Span put it on the agenda?
As a part of future agenda items, absolutely.
Yeah.
that is within your right as commissioners.
So my concern is that the Queen schedule hasn't grown for the past 4 years or 5, I don't remember when. So we're still down to 2 weekends. And to me, more than expanding physically, like I think the subcommittee was trying to find a way to bring in some sort of revenue to the Queen and all of that. But maintenance, we're going to be talking about having funding maintenance, and the Queen would be part of that. So I really would love to see a focus on expanding the hours. And that will require, and that's my concern, because you guys were stretching you thin. I know that. So if we don't have a subcommittee at all, then who would do that?
So, Commissioner Velasco, that's a great point. And we have assigned, about 6 months ago, I assigned an actual staff member, our community engagement liaison, Leticia Liao, to actually oversee the volunteers over at the Queen. So she's the one who works with the lead docent, Marty Tiedemann, to ensure that we are making all of the docents are trained, they're all appropriately scheduled. One of the things that there is now a focus on that, we have actually in that period of time, because it's a staff focus for us, has gained 4 additional volunteers. So we're waiting for them to be appropriately trained. So once they are doing that, Leticia has floated the idea of actually adding an additional Saturday. So we are on that path to be able to do that, and this was all done without the use of the subcommittee, because it was done internally.
That's awesome, absolutely awesome. I had suggested in the past to contact the colleges. We have San Marcos and we have Palomar. If we can get art major students supporting the trained docents, then we could actually have all 4 Saturdays open. You know what I mean? But it will need somebody to dedicate time.
Absolutely. And I would love to be able to dedicate that time, and that's why Leticia is the one who's responsible for it. We have engaged Cal State San Marcos in an agreement, a long-term agreement, to work with their different schools or departments to place interns within various city departments. So this could be one of those things. Now, we are pausing that at the moment at the behest of the city manager's office until they are appropriately satisfied that we can be able to work within the capacity of our staff level. However, I'm confident that within the next 9 months, by the end of the year, we would be able to re-engage in that arena.
I'm looking at option 3 because we don't know who's going to be here. I think this is really important. I think we need to take some time to think about it, just 1 more month. And as far as, like you say, even if we dissolved it today, we could bring it back up. But I think there has to be the Queen is a gym, and we just need to have some input in our dais up here to speak about it, and someone not like me, but someone who might be here next time who is a docent, hopefully, and would give some input. I think there's nothing like personal, no offense toward Leticia, I expected more docents, and it's a slow process, I realize that, and Marty has some good ideas with that, and we've met with Leticia, and so is her staff time, is that when she meets with us, is that something that is costing the city money too? I think it's really important to meet with Leticia and brainstorm some of these things, because you don't see what's happening in the background until your boots on the
Absolutely.
ground.
One of the things that she is working toward as well is getting her and her staff member are working to get trained also. So if, for example, during the week, on a Tuesday or a Thursday, when we have docents that call out, they're sick, they're on vacation, something comes up, they can't make it, those 2 staff members would be able to step in so that we would not have to close the Queen on those particular days. They haven't been fully trained yet, but they're working toward that. That is something that I've asked them to do.
I understand.
That's excellent, because, right here, Robert.
Oh, thank you.
Because I've had friends, roommate, people go on the days it's supposed to be open, and I understand that some days it can't be open because Commissioner Span explained this to me, that if it has rained or it's too moist, it could be dangerous. However, it would be great to have backups so that the days that they're supposed to be open, they are.
And I wanted to offer that some of us were docents, so we're trained. Please put our name there for emergency. I hate to see people coming from far away and not having somebody, so I'll put my name down. I'll cover for somebody, you know, if it's needed.
So to speak to Commissioner Span's concern about our not being informed or being able to provide input, if this is an ongoing agenda item, we will always get reports from staff and be able to share our information. I don't think that we're going to lose an opportunity. Actually, it sounds to me like this is a much better system than we've had in the past. And I do have a question with regard to the third Saturday that you're considering adding. Is there a science to that? I know that you're counting, someone's counting how many people visit when. Do we know what the best, is it the third Saturday? Is it have you thought that through, or are you just going to throw a dart?
To my
The
knowledge,
first one.
yeah. To my knowledge, we have not decided which particular Saturday. I would venture a guess that it is going to be a conversation that Marty and Leticia are going to have together, so that they can identify specifically based on their intuition and actual data as far as when people might show up. That's what they would be doing.
Okay. And then one other question too. I think I've heard something about this. Is there a system in place for private tours?
There is.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Robert.
So did you want to,
Oh, yeah, we need to
So
move.
did you want to do one of these items? Are you interested in deferring this until the next meeting? Do you want to dissolve the committee now, or are you interested in appointing an additional member at this time?
I am concerned with number 3 because there's a possibility that 4 of us reapply to the commission. I think we can expect some movement, so new people will be on board perhaps at the next meeting. So it looks like we could do number 2 if we based it on what you said, that basically we can move forward and have action items brought up to the PAC when needed.
Yes, absolutely.
So there's still a venue.
I-
And you're saying a more effective venue perhaps than just having subcommittee.
I would lean towards just as the liaison for this group, I would lean towards making it a permanent agenda item specifically for you, so you will always have some sort of update every meeting if you were to dissolve the subcommittee. That would be my recommendation.
So are we expected to vote today on this?
Yes.
Okay, so
I agree with you, Anne.
I motion to dissolve the subcommittee with the recommendation of the...
that you've made.
Well, I feel like I should second this loudly. I believe that dissolving the subcommittee, we'll still get the information since there was never really a subcommittee anyway. But I would agree with number 2. And I second that motion.
Right, let's vote.
So it is approved, and then I just have it noted that it's going to dissolve with placement on agenda, or as a permanent item on the agenda. So it's approved 7-0.
Robert, can we at this point move some items from the agenda and have number 10, number 9? Oh, we have number 9 in person. 10 in person.
We can't move agenda order.
At all?
We can't, unfortunately, no. Like the order of the agenda, I had this come up with Commissioner appointments to staff one time in the council meetings, but I can't switch items around.
Can we do that at the beginning of the meeting when we look at the agenda? I believe we have some leeway at the beginning.
You were able to like pull an item.
You can pull.
You can pull an item, like, and take it completely off, but you're not allowed to take it and say, I want to take item number 4 and replace it. Which is allowed.
Am I not correct in like 24 hours before, when you send out the agenda, that would be when to do it, right? That would be when to pull it or question it?
Well, I was at the last city council meeting and we jumped, if you remember, we jumped to item 13 and 14 and then they went back.
But the council has different policies and procedures. So, but you can, they're pulling an item that's on a consent calendar and then going back to discuss.
No.
So, but you can't do that. So at this meeting, we can't switch items.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Sorry. You have to follow. Okay.
Can move agenda items to another meeting, though, if you would like.
No, we were just saying to move because people are waiting right now.
But understood. Understood. But if you wanted to move, for instance, item 6 to our next meeting, I think you'd prefer we didn't do that,
Can we do that?
but we could do that.
Absolutely. Like,
Yeah, so that,
you can pull and move, but then we're not able to go back and discuss. And like Commissioner Wetton was saying, like,
so we could move number 6 for the next meeting if it's not an emergency, and I don't think it is, right?
you want to do the appearance? I think like the, are you
Would you-
making a motion? Do you want to move that
You
to the
okay with
next
that?
meeting?
We don't have to see it
Yeah,
today.
I motion to move the appearance committee.
I second that motion.
Wait, before you do in that motion, do you want to move number 7, or are you going to keep that one?
Let's see.
Because that one sort of feels as if we want to see who's on the commission when we start that conversation.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think we should address number 7 now. If it's okay. So move 6.
The motion to move 6 from.
Motion to move 6 to our next meeting.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay.
Just going to open the vote, you guys.
I can't vote. I already did. You-
I think I've written it down. I think just,
I did, but okay, now, thank you. But now I cannot submit it. Now express, select voting option, yeah, again. But it's not, okay. Thank you. All right, so that will be next time. Art education. Robert? Yes, I'm
okay, so we're going to move that. The art education.
No, we don't. And then we have-
Okay.
Next item is, you are right?
Correct.
Go ahead.
Correct. So this particular item was asked to be placed on the agenda by the commission. And what I'm asking at this point on behalf of staff is to provide us directions. There's no specific report. I do not have a presentation. What I'm looking for is direction from the commission as to how you would like to handle this. So That's it's an open discussion. What would you like us to do? What does that look like for you as a commission? Would it be related to the mural projects? Would it be related to Escondido expressions? Would it be related to the theme? All of the above? Is it reaching out to the different schools? What I'm looking for is direction, and then from there we can develop potentially a plan and be able to move that forward and continue talking about that at successive meetings.
I kind of feel like a broken record here. This is a line item in the Public Art Master Plan. It's one of the things that's listed as a potential action item in the master plan.
But if you don't provide any input now, and only 2 commissioners are attending, there's 7 here.
So you're looking for some information, some guidelines, some input
Yeah.
for that master plan, those meetings that we're having.
Right, so the 2 of you are attending. There's 5 people who are not attending. So either you provide now some input, or how can we provide input to that commission, to that subcommittee? The rest of us that are not attending.
Well, we can start with something that I can say, which is that we've been talking about for the Escondido expressions, traffic box paintings, expanding that after the pilot program to high schools to have their students work on traffic boxes near the high school.
And I think I would add into that, contacting schools and making sure they're aware of what we already have in our city, and including the Queen. So how can we provide, if they need funding, to educate the public? But if we could just start by focusing on schools, that would be a way to begin, to start.
So then, is your definition of art education to educate the public about the art that exists in Escondido?
And art in general.
So we're not talking about art training, or do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, totally.
Okay, all right. So we're talking about letting people know what's here and trying to get more feet on the street.
Yeah, and as a retired teacher, you don't miss opportunities to educate your students. So if we're going to bring kids, or it could be the other way around. I know busing is a huge problem and a very expensive proposition. I think we could fund, bring the kids to downtown. We used to do it through 3rd grade social studies, and bring them and to the I did personally bring them to the Mingue and to the the museum. But let's just throw the idea out and then we talk about specifics. But yeah, and when you have that going, then you educate those kids in how you look at art, because most people don't even know how you look at an art piece and what you should be looking for if the technology.
I'm sure we all have our pets, I would say, of course, and I agree with a lot of what's said up here. I think the Queen is already a piece of art that you can bring people to. You can see the rocks, you can see the formation, how it was made, what the artist intended, what they see in it. I mean, art, it just excites. I'd like to see more art education in that, and then bring them, here we go, bring them back up to the downtown, where we have more of some of the same, some different, just how it connects, and to bring feet on the street that would be interested in what's happening in Escondido that's unique to Escondido.
I agree with all these conversations. I think young people are so easily inspired by art, especially if they stand before it, they can touch it, if it's the kind of art where you could actually touch it, like the Queen. But they do get inspired and sort of like the fire underneath them. And if we could somehow figure out how to fund busing to get them there, because a lot of these young people aren't able to do this on weekends.
And I'd like to add something. I think that Carol Rogers knows a lot about educating students through her MAGIC program, where you and the rest organize days of art in the park, sculpture projects with students, scavenger hunts. What am I leaving out?
Some of our Magic members actually do hands-on art activities with children too, and young people.
Right. And we have the second Tuesday already, and that would be a venue, right? One of the venues. Yeah, this is one thing we are behind, way behind. We used to have third graders, I believe, coming to Queen Califia before the pandemic and stopped. So we can restart that.
These are all excellent ideas, and we'll take this back and we'll start to formulate something for you and then return to the commission with an update as to incorporating your comments and what is reasonable and feasible for us to be able to do. So.
I'll say one more thing. A couple of weeks ago, it was a special day where we had a tour there. I was privileged to be there with Marty, and it was a school bus of kids from, I think it was Del Dios, no, I don't know. But they were art students, and just the excitement. But my point is, that was privately funded. So to give the opportunity to someone, you can put 30 seats on feet in the, to get them there to see if you had someone who could privately fund it and not take it from the city. I realize that's always on my mind because of the city costs right now, but want to get something done, something started that we don't have to wait until money is no object.
We all hope we can get there someday, right?
All right. Any more discussion? If not, we will move to item number 8. Hummingbird by Brenda Townsend. Where are we with that? We need to approve this. Now, the mural subcommittee met, and this was way back then. For the public, just to clarify, before we did the transition to the new staff, we discussed this project and approved it. And we also discussed it and approved the additional funds, because she had, I think it was 21,000, and then she, after reconsidering the size of the wall, now it's 26,000. And we agree, and so as the mural subcommittee, and please speak up if you're ready, we would like to recommend that we approve the new figure.
So just echoing what Commissioner Velasco said, this particular mural was approved by the Public Art Commission on March 13th, 2023. We are literally 2 days shy of 1 year, so it's been going on for quite a while. The initial cost was $21,590. It would be going at the location of 158 West Grand Avenue, or Colita Tomales, and that would be facing Maple Street Plaza. The wall needed to be repaired prior to the installation. That's part of the reason why it's taken so long. That is currently in process, if not already completed. I have not walked by there quite yet. So, but the last time I drove by, there was scaffolding up, so I know that they're definitely in the process. The mural is quite large. This is one of the larger murals that has been approved. It measures in size approximately 14 feet by 100 feet, so a total of 1,400 square feet. It's a good sized mural for sure. So the artist has requested that due to the requirements to, requiring time to conduct the repair, and costs have steadily risen over the course of the last year. The artist is requesting for us to consider additional funds, an additional $4,950 to cover those costs, which will increase the project cost to a total of $26,540. The mural subcommittee has met and is recommending the approval of the extra cost. So that's where we are right now. I'm looking for an approval from the Public Art Commission for those increased costs.
I motion we approve.
And it,
I said, oh, I don't think
Can you third it?
Oh, okay, ready to go. I wanted to clarify about the scaffolds are there. Brenda is ready to go. So as soon as we approve these, they're leaving the scaffolding there so she can get started. It is just not cooperating. It freezes. If it doesn't work, then we just say aye and count hands. Simple and easier and faster. Mine is not. Oh, there we go.
All right, I see.
Yay.
Okay.
Hopefully that will get started soon.
I can submit. Good. All right, so approved 7-0.
a question. Do we ever do ribbon cutting going forward?
We have done privately funded when Charlie did his whole,
Right.
yeah, he funded all of it on his own. But for these kind of murals, I would love if we could do that. Are we?
We would have the mayor come and city council and publish it, and anybody interested, we don't have to do a party or any refreshments afterwards.
Well, we could partner with the DBA, and maybe they could organize refreshments and
Like the
music.
global roots?
Yeah, like the Global Roots. Most of these murals deserve a party.
This one is,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have some other murals coming up forward that I would like to see that happen also. I think we need to celebrate the artists.
And celebrate the building owner and business owner that had the foresight to say yes. And I think often we can find businesses that would contribute to that kind of event. It's such a wonderful thing for everyone involved, for our community too.
It's a win-win.
so who would like to lead that?
And we'd get good advertisements, I mean, you know, get a
Carol,
little
because
press.
we're in the DBA. You're already there.
I can lead that on Brenda's mural. Easily. I'll take it to the DBA and talk to them about it. We'll plan it.
Thank you. That would be wonderful.
So going forward, when we have a next mural approved, I think we should do the same thing for ribbon cutting. How would we deal with that going forward?
Robert, can we have a commissioner adopt a mural to do the ribbon cutting, or how can we do this?
Absolutely, I think you can do that. My recommendation would be let us come back in an actual agenda item so you
Okay.
can discuss it at more at length and how you want to be able to handle that.
That's good.
So I will put that on for the next meeting.
I think it's needed right now. Escondido needs this. We need to celebrate. All right, so, and knowing Brenda, she's going to go full blast.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Wait to see that. Number 9, mural proposal, Mark Zane Kincaid, and go ahead. Robert.
Wonderful, thank you. So this is the next mural proposal that we have from artist Mark Van Kincaid, and it's called Know Your History. So just for your information, some previous actions that were taken. November 8th of 2023, this information was reviewed by the Appearance Committee. Then February 27th of 2024, it was reviewed and recommended for approval by the mural subcommittee with some changes. The changes would be to include that the artwork is installed on the concrete wall, not the brick facade, along County End closest to the alley, as well as the books with the actual titles that reference Escondido history. So those were the recommendations that came out of the subcommittee. So again, the location is at 254 East Grand Avenue. That's on the Laurel Glen Business. It measures 14 by 18 feet, or 252 square feet. The artist is requesting $9,824. And what you see right there is the latest rendering of the items. There is one book that is actually missing. When I spoke with the artist, he indicated that he was unable to go to either the Pioneer Room or the library to check on one last book. So we are missing one book. It is the brown one that is right there. And part of the condition, if you were to approve this mural, is to ensure that it is accurate and has all titles that reference Escondido history listed on it. So the recommendation is to approve this mural as proposed and taking into account the request from the subcommittee.
I have something to say. Commissioner Ryan and I were
Oh, no, go ahead.
sitting in Fusion Restaurant at a booth by the window, and we looked over and saw the wall this is proposed for, and with the brick next to it, and then it would be on the concrete, and with the tree, it was perfect for that particular wall. It just fit like it should be there. That's what I have to say.
Yeah.
Also, this building is very old. Were you going to say that?
No, I was going to say, I love this mural. It's funny, I saw a photo of a mural with books in some other city, and I thought, oh, Escondido needs this. So thank you. One question, did you intend the typo in highway?
No.
I
I didn't even notice it.
There's a typo?
Yeah.
When they called me about
It says Higway.
Can you go back?
when
Robert?
they called me about this, I was on vacation, so when I got back the very next day, as soon as I got back, I started making the changes.
Yeah.
And then that's when the Pioneer Room was closed, but they needed it like right that minute or that day.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's
I'm
great.
just so excited that I didn't think it was going to get out of the first committee. So when I got that call, I was so excited, I probably just didn't double check it. Those are actual real books.
Yes.
And the last book is going to be provided by the mayor because he says he has a book that I don't have, and it's in the office here somewhere. So we decided we will choose it from one of the two books he has that are actual books from here.
Yes. So, good catch, Carol.
Yeah, I didn't even
This-
see that. So.
This important catch.
I was
This
going,
building is very old. The bricks were handmade from local soil.
Really?
And it's, yes, and the wood floors were still original. And it's just magnificent. And with that texture of the old mixed with the older books, it's going to be fantastic.
The idea is to have them painted like leather books. You can't see it in the computer rendering, but the idea is that they will look like leather-bound books with the texture
That's
and
awesome.
the coloring of that. And I think it goes really well with what you were saying earlier about you could bring kids to this, and then they can literally go to the library and check that book out, and maybe they'll do a report on it or something.
Robert, can you go back to the picture? Zane, okay, 14 feet high. So there's a car park in front, we still see half of it, right?
True, yeah, you will only see part of it.
And then 18 in length.
It goes, like, the reason that the idea came about to me anyway is the top of the building, it goes, then down, then over, then down. Like, I mean, it actually is going to look like real books, sort of. So you will easily be able to see the top of that no matter what.
So cars parked will not cover it, what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, just like
No.
anything else.
You guys, you saw it.
I just wanted to say that our business was in there for 7 years, so I know that business well. That used to be 2 stories. I don't know if you knew that.
I did.
It was, had to be retrofitted because the owner at the time figured that if he had to retrofit it, it cost a lot of money, but it wouldn't cost anything to remove the second floor. So that's what happened, and that's why the roof always leaked. So, a little bit of history there. I'm so glad the building was from 1888, I believe, so it's quite old. And it used to be Shelby's grocery store, as I recall. So I have a lot of fond memories for that, and I think that back part was one of the ugly things that was on the building itself, and I think there's nobody, or maybe there are, but in my opinion, I think that Zane has a real heart for Escondido, a love for Escondido, and he has a feel for Escondido. And this is the kind of art that I would like to see here that relates to Escondido. Sure, we have other things too, but just something unique to Escondido, and that's what I'd like to see going forth with the master art plan, is things that are unique to us. And you bring it. Thank you.
Partially, to go back to what Commissioner Velasco was saying, that particular section of wall is at the rear of the building where the alley starts, and there's a parking lot. So there is parking where, like, I guess technically where it starts, the last parking spot is. But if you're driving on Kalmaya, it would be impossible not to see it.
You see it, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I've always wanted to do when I was on this commission is bring history to children, bring a curiosity, and this is what we can do through our art. We can actually inform, educate, and have them be curious about it. And so the curiosity hopefully will be instilled in them to want to research these books. And maybe even English teachers may want them to check out these books.
And the Charlotta Inn was where the hospital used to be, where now the Palomar Project.
And that's a real book that came out last year from the owner's granddaughter. If you guys are interested in seeing it, I don't know how you can buy it. I have a copy, but it's really, it really vividly tells you how important the Charlotta Inn, which is still a place on Tulip Street,
Famous.
was to the community back then. It was like the Golden Door or Calavie of that time, you know.
So maybe during the ribbon cutting, maybe you can share a little bit of
I
that.
totally.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Those books where it says Grape Day Festival, we could probably buy like 30 of those maybe and just give them out to people,
Inform us.
depending on the cost, because you can buy those at like Walgreens and stuff.
All right, good. Let's move on because we have other people.
I move that we,
We have to vote, right?
I move that we
Thank you.
vote on this, recommend that it be done.
I second that motion.
All those in favor, vote. Okay.
Approved 7-0.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right. It's getting exciting here in Escondido.
It really
More
is.
Every day, every day. Okay, number 10. Thank you for waiting, Washington Park. Mural proposal by Escondido Union High School School District.
We do have one speaker. Yeah. I'm sorry if I'm saying the name completely wrong. Alea, and then it says Sudi.
Yeah, it's a group of us.
Okay, so if there's, what, you guys, do you want to speak first?
Let's get the questions.
Okay.
And let Robert.
Okay.
Or that. If there are questions, you're here.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Once again, another mural proposal. This will be at Washington Park by UHSD students. Your previous action, as far as this is concerned, so February 20, 2024, these items were reviewed by the Appearance Committee. And then on February 29th, 2024, this was reviewed by the Mural Subcommittee with some mixed reaction. In general, the subcommittee's thoughts were that the costs were a little bit too high. They did favor one of the murals over the other one. Now, keeping in mind that this program has been ongoing in partnership with UHSD since 2021. That very first year, they used decals that were on the wall, and so there was no cost that was associated with that. And as far as previous funding was concerned, in 2022, we did an amendment to that original agreement, and that was for $12,000, and those were 2 murals for that. Then again, in 2023, the cost was $20,000, and that was for 4 murals. So there are 2 different murals that we're going to be looking at today. The first one being the skate park mural. This will go on the Washington Park Pool building. It will be facing the basketball courts and the skate park that's out there.
No. It's kind of replaced.
It's on the side of the building.
Right. So it does measure in size 7 foot by 13 foot for a total of 91 square feet. The amount that is being requested is $15,000, and it is replacing the hand. And then you can see the mural rendering right there. The second piece that you're going to be looking at today is also going on the Washington Park Pool building. This is going to be going inside the fence, the pool fence, but it will be facing the parking lot. So it is inside the pool fence, but it will be facing the parking lot. This is actually a nice and recommended mural. The aquatic staff that we have there would like to see that go up. The mural size for that one is 7 foot by 10 foot, or a total of 70 square feet. And they are also requesting $15,000 for that one. And then as you can see there, the mural rendering there as well. So we have a number of different options associated with this. The options are simply to approve the murals and associated costs. That's number 1. Number 2 would be to approve the murals and identify an acceptable funding point. Number 3 would be to approve one mural, maybe deny the other one, and then again, either accept the costs that were requested or find and fund an acceptable cost, or to be able to deny both mural projects. So those are options that are currently available, and we have some individuals that are here to speak on that.
So I'd like to understand the costs. Are they going to speak to their requested costs?
It's okay if I have the students speak a little bit
Okay,
about...
speak to the microphone. Is it on? Basically, we need an itemized, yeah.
So,
You compared these costs to the other 2 murals that we've just approved. These are hard to understand.
so I want Dominic to kind of go over his skateboard design overall, and if we are to pick one, we're all in favor of the skateboard one. It's important for us that you understand his point of view. So okay, if I invite him to speak to you. Share.
Does the microphone work?
Please, Sudi, speak to the microphone and we can't hear you. So you need to get very close.
Hello?
No, it's not on.
No, it's not on.
Sorry, I don't think the microphone's working. I don't know if maybe you can speak to the staff one. Possibly. That might be, sorry, I don't think that one's working.
Sit down.
There you go.
Hello, my name is Dominic Valdivia, also known as Dom, and also known as the creator of this mural for Washington Skate Park.
Okay.
So, what really inspired me to make this artwork is that, so I have a show that I've been planning on for a while, and Mr. Anaya told me to make something based off of skating and some of my friends. So, this animation sorry. In this art, in this mural, it would feature four characters in that show, which my friends and I are also playing as. And
Which one are you?
so, if you can see the one with the green beanie and the mustache, that one would. I
What?
would be playing that one.
Which one?
The one
On the right.
the green beanie
Okay.
and the red car.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Here, there's an ear. This is a game.
Animation. It's a animation.
Okay, okay.
He's the creator of the.
I'm the creator of this animation, as well as many other projects.
Cool. Would have been nice to see some of that.
Could you explain what the stickers on the ramps are?
Those are some previous stickers I have made based off of albums of artists that I listen to. So, on one of the ramps right there, see if you look a little closer under the flower that I have also made. That's a sticker inspired by an album called Sung Tong by Animal Collective. And on the other ramp on the right,
Mm-hmm.
that is a sticker that I have made. It is based off It is based off of an album that a rapper named Tyler the Creator had made back in 2015, which is called Cherry Bomb.
I'm glad you're explaining the stickers because it's very hard for us to see the details.
Can you
of this
enlarge
rendering.
it? Can this be enlarged at all? No?
I don't think so. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, no, no.
No, it's in the page. We should
Explaining those little
Yeah.
stickers.
And the one on the left ramp, on the lower corner, that is not based off of an album. That is a series of stickers I have made that is based off of the dreams that I have had.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it. The flower, that's just another design I made. Also inspired by Takashi. It's like a Japanese artist.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty known for his flower designs that he makes. So I'm like, hey, I kind of want to make something like that too.
Mm-hmm.
And I have. That's where that flower comes from.
I love that this represents A, the skate park, B, things that your generation and people you probably hang out with can relate to. It's a young, youthful place at Washington Park. So that's what I really like, and the colors.
You are a talented individual, for sure.
Thank you so much.
In the past, that wall has not been friendly to us, that things have just not stayed on there, peeled off. I know that was because we had some sort of stickers on this. I know this is going to be painted on the wall, and it becomes a challenge, for sure. I have a little problem with that wall. And also, one of the requirements that, in my mind, I think we should always look at when we're talking about Escondido art and the money involved to put it on there is that it's going to be timeless art. That I know that, 3 years ago with COVID and everything happened, there was totally different art that came before us, right? So I I would like to see something on here that you'd look at in 10 years and say, I know what that is, and, you know, that's my only concern. But you are very talented. Thank you.
I'm curious, when you decide what artwork to bring to the Art Commission, have your students had input?
I want to point to why we're designing. So this is going on the side. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
I'm using my keyboard. This is going on the side. It's going to be replacing this hand because there are some other hands that are facing the basketball court, and they're not. Those are not going to be covered. These hands are constantly. This one hand is being constantly vandalized, and I personally been cleaning it, City been cleaning it, Charlie been painting on it. It's relentless, and one of the issues we have, I think, is because it just does not relate to the population of the youth that are using the park and skateboarding there. When we are sending work to you, usually when it comes from different high schools, they are different processes that are being followed. This is by Mr. Anaya. So I think the question is appropriate for Mr. Anaya. You want to answer the question here, or you want to answer?
This is Orange Glen High School.
This is Orange Glen High School, correct?
Yeah, hello everyone. So
Basically, I'm for feeding or a space for.
yeah, so my name is Alarnaya, and I work with Dominic Valdivia in the graphic arts program, which I teach. And for the past 3 years, Dominic has been just an amazing, one of the most creative students that I've had in the classroom, just, you know, creating new content daily. And, you know, Dom today came up and shared this one piece of artwork that he's created. But within the past year, he's probably created over 100 different, like, pieces of artwork. He, I mean, it's almost like a collection of his work. And one of the things that draws me and his classmates always to his art is that it might not always deliver a message, but it's like very positive, colorful artwork. And he has like a real unique style. If you see this artwork and then you see his 99 other pieces, you can tell that it's like created by Dom. And then there was a comment made about whether this artwork would, you know, stand the test of time within, you know, 3 years if it's still relevant. Sudhi mentioned that this artwork reflects the people that take ownership of part of this park, which is the skate community. Yeah, I think by having this piece at the park, that community will, they'll feel like they're reflected in the artwork, right? So when it comes to, you know, how this artwork will age, I think it depends on the lens that you see it. I mean, I grew up as a skater in this community, and there was absolutely no murals that reflected the skating community. Nor was there a skate park. The first skate park was the streets. Luckily now we have an actual skate park, safe space for these skaters. So when I proposed to Dom creating a mural that reflected the skate community, he's been really active within that community. Not as a skater himself, he does skate here and there, but he positioned himself in the bottom right corner because he's kind of like the official filmer for the Orange Glen High School skate team that recently won the championship title for like high school skateboarding, first place last year. So he's been really involved within that community. So that's why he was chosen to create this piece.
I like also that the sun has eyes and is watching.
I have a question for you. Oh, sorry.
I want to do something. Can I?
Go ahead.
You want to go ahead?
No, go ahead.
So I have 3 things. I think the topic is very appropriate for the park. And I think if you go to the park and see the kids skating and playing basketball and there's playgrounds and so on, I think we need the community to accept it and make it part of them, to respect it. So I think that's very appropriate. Number two, the location is, okay, so this is going on the side. One of the problems we have in that location is that there's no dirt or garden before it, so there's no buffer. So people will bike, skate, and they're touching the wall.
And I'm hoping by this part, they
Might.
fix it.
Yeah, I am also in agreement with that. I'm a firm believer that if the artwork created, it reflects the space, it will be respected. I myself, I've had the opportunity and honor to paint a mural at Chicano Park in San Diego, and it's been 6 years, and it's never been defaced or vandalized. So I think it's a really big to create something that reflects these spaces, right? At a place like Washington Park, could look like a mural that includes swimming because there's a swimming pool there. It could look like this, something skate related because there is a skate park there. Now with the futsal courts, it could look like a mural that reflects the soccer community.
I do have some information that may help with the concerns, because not so much that it'll be vandalized, but it'll be touched because it's near where people are without a buffer. There's a product called Mural Guard that Vista Paints has, and I think it's around $38. And the good part about Mural Guard is if it does get dirty and you can't remove it, you're able to spray on just an orange citrus spray, let it dry, and wipe it off, and it'll restore it. So that's something you may want to consider if it's vulnerable.
Cover all the paintings in anti-graffiti paint.
Good.
Speaking for this design, I don't know what is it. The attack speed relentless.
Good.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that with something that is more relatable, it will definitely be respected. And we do use that, and I appreciate if you can email that grant to me.
Thank you.
That you're going to replace it with that.
And I have a second question. I actually have a question. Dominic, I'm old, so I don't know much about stickers. And I want to make sure that these stickers are appropriate for younger people that will be coming to the park. So educate me, because as I said, I have no idea what the stickers or the songs symbolize.
So I think for the Sung Tong or Song Tong album, I think it's more of sound and more bizarre vocals than actual singing. I can't really explain what kind of music it is. It's called like soundcore. And for the cherry bomb sticker, and for the cherry bomb sticker,
Mr. Anaya, you are an educator. Do you see?
I think in
anything?
short, what he's trying to, I think Dom is trying to explain the actual musical style of that inspired the sticker art. But and knowing his art style, I think they're just pieces of artwork and music that inspire him to create his own artwork. I don't know if Dom's open to making changes to that or including something that.
Mr. Anaya, you're an educator. Do you see anything in there that is inappropriate? I don't, but.
No,
Okay.
I don't believe there's anything on there that
Yeah,
would be inappropriate.
that's what I agree. So, it's 6:22 and we still have to go through a lot of things. So there's a question pending. And the question is, we did discuss the price. We still think it's too high. We just approve a painting, a mural that is about this, even larger. and it's way less. So can you itemize, because in the future, we would like to see how you break it down, and Escoali Art has a really nice page that maybe they can share with the city.
It's very easy. The way we do work, it's very different from other artists. The way we do work with the city is all the reports are available. You first get a check about like $3,000 to $4,000, and we purchase paints with that. Then the city does not pay us. The first mural that we did, it took the city 12 months to pay back the district.
Wow.
Then what we do is that the district sends itemized, considering the privacy of how many hours each person spent on that project. And that is what the city will pay us. So the city will not write a check for the lump sum of $15,000 and hand it to us. The first mural that we did, that we coded for $12,000, it was this very large mural, this one, the size this fat one, and a small mural. The smaller mural was very simple, and we just did the background, and then Aled and Charlie finished it. The second mural, that was 4 pieces. The pieces are not the same size because of the cost. Again, we have a smaller one, we have a larger one, and then so if you would put all of it together, would become a very large mural. For that one too, we received a check, but that was a lot faster because I understood the process. It was a check that was given to us for the city for $3,000 to $5,000. Still, the district supplies all of that. Me or the teachers, we don't see any of the money. It all goes to the district. And then we send them for hours. That one was 4 students that it was the first job that they painted, and Charlie that supervised them. This one, I have a fear over the price of the paint that is gone up. And I kind of look at the original, and I'm considering that we also have to cover the existing mural completely and paint it, and then we'll repaint it.
I'd like to add one more thing about these. These essentially collaborations with the city to create these pieces of artwork at Washington Park, pieces of artwork that are created by students within our high school district. One key difference with these projects is that when an artist gets, commissioned and proposes a project, like some of the projects that we've seen approved earlier today, that $15,000, it's that one artist. It's typically that one artist working on that project. These projects that we've done at Washington Park the past few years, one way to put it is if you think more of it as an experience. It's an experience for the student artist who proposed the artwork and is kind of like the lead designer of it. But it's an experience because we invite other students within that high school, other students in our programs to participate in that. It's like almost like a community, student art community event every time we go out there and paint. And with that, there's typically 1 or 2 educators assigned to help with the creation of these murals. So there's the art educator, the student volunteers helping with the creation of it. And with that, it is a slower pace. It is a slower pace than if you just had one professional artist working on it. This will be Dom's first mural project. So I just want you all to keep that in mind, that it is more about the experience.
More students create a lower cost?
No, it's a slower pace,
They all happen during summer. Charlie is going to be the teacher that supervises this one. We're going to try to hire 2 students as peer tutors and 2 to 3 students as volunteer. It is because it's summer and everyone's traveling, we haven't been able to recruit large groups of students. But the moment that you bring in large group of students, supervision becomes really hard, and then they start making lots of mistakes because they're not supervised. So the process is slow because you're also thinking about quality. And Charlie is the artist, so if you know Charlie, his work is just spectacular.
Yeah.
And he has the same standard for these. So speaking of the price, I talked to Charlie, and if the city can help us with covering the discount, like if the city can paint over this for us, the blue of the wall, we can do it like $12,000. But please keep in mind that you're not writing a check and handing it to me or Charlie for the amount of $12,000. Please keep in mind that you will see all the hours, all the material I have submitted, detailed receipt to the city, exactly how we have spent the money on. So it's not a blank check. I don't see the private information of other teachers and how much they were paid for each project, but that goes directly from the district to the city. So if you can help us covering this, that would help actually a lot. Then we don't have to do that, and I can do 12. I can go to 12. I'm afraid to go lower because I don't want Charlie or the peer students work for free.
Robert, so you think public art could, public works could paint that? They've done it before.
It's the
Yeah.
wall, just
You don't have,
cover it.
I don't think you have a microphone there, so speak up.
Supposedly it's on now. Look at that. There you go. I believe the city would be able to assist with covering the wall up. I have, in my department, I have a maintenance technician that I can assign to that project.
And I think it would be a good education for us to see the breakdown. We've never seen it before, actually. So we approve this and we never see what happens at the end. Is Charlie getting, because we have to, he's there for 2 weeks sometimes.
No,
So he's,
5 weeks.
it's going to take 5 weeks to paint this?
Last project, the one that it was, which ended up being
It was-
2,000 and something, he worked for what, 5?
That was 4 murals. This is going to be 1.
The previous one, which was 2 murals, like one this
Yeah.
size, one smaller, it took them about 4 weeks, but they were mostly working out.
Yeah, I visited several days, and they worked in the morning because of the heat, so 9 to 12.
They started working
Yeah.
in the morning.
So I think I would like to recommend that next time, if you can break it down and we could see it itemized, so much for painting, so much for,
Yeah, I am giving you that information.
but we don't see it. We never see it.
Previous, well, because I provided to the city, so my
Yeah.
understanding is that the records should be available for access. And the material, it was about 4,300 and something, and the rest of it was student for peer students, both that they were helping the students and the teacher. So the total came about 19,000. So about if you deduct the cost of so like 13,000 for labor of 5 people working on 4 murals.
Robert, it's Carol. Do you think, would it be possible for us to see the cost breakdown from the 2023 project? Is that something that might be readily accessible? I mean,
Obviously, yeah, I can get that for you. It's just going to take a little bit of time for us to pull that together tonight.
yeah, I wouldn't think tonight. And with your question, are we considering maybe we don't make a decision on this, or are we looking at this as part of our educational mission and will be better informed when we can see the breakdown from a previous project? May is our next meeting, and you're probably looking to get started the beginning of June, right?
it will never happen.
Yeah. and
Because you can't organize it.
some of us may not be back, so there's going to be a change.
Yeah.
There's 4 of us that are
For me
here.
to do the paperwork, to have some student hire as a peer tutor, it takes months.
I think 12,000 is an acceptable figure compared to what we have paid in the past. So, discussion, or do we have a motion?
I'd like to make one more comment and ask the question. Is this going to be done on the brick itself?
Yeah, it's the.
Yes,
big
it
wall.
will be done on the brick, as
Again,
with the
I-
previous
it would-
mural in that location.
Yeah. And looking at things tonight, Commissioners, if we approve the next 2, we'll have spent over $120,000 of our budget. So
We're only
Just-
voting
just
on
a-
one,
Yeah.
this one.
And another question regarding the wall. You said that the wall has had its share of damage and graffiti and stuff like that. Does it just need paint to cover it up, or is there going to be repair in addition to that?
It's
Okay.
the pool building, it's a brick wall, but it's been painted for the past 20 years, maybe. It looks like blue, the color of blue, and so it's kind of nice because now it's really easy to paint on it. We just need this existing mural to be colored.
Suri, what about this? What about if we don't paint it there, cover it in blue, the hand, and then put this one in the front facing the basketball courts? So we have the bird with the wings in the corner, and then we have next to it, we have the hands that look like they're holding hearts. Do we have space to put this one there?
No,
Or we would have to paint on top of the hands?
yes. Even if you paint on top of the hand,
The hands, you
even
know,
if you paint on the top of, even if you paint on top of the hands, we won't have enough space.
we don't have 13 feet facing the basketball court? Because this would be really nice for the public, for the traffic on Washington Avenue to see.
Yeah,
And it's very happy and,
and then painting there because of the existing, painting such a detailed mural there because of the existing plantation that's very pointy, it's really hard. And we stepped on them last time and the city was not happy with or damages.
I really finished before looking at the art.
Yeah.
I'm
I think so
afraid we might
too.
get graffiti there, or the kids skate and go with the racer and they, you know, can we look at the location again? Is that possible?
If you want to fit this there, also I would like you to pay attention that vegetation will grow in front of it, so half of the mural won't be seen.
And I think they covered the risk of this being damaged. This clearly speaks to the people that use that park.
Yeah, that's why they should see
There's a
it.
difference
Yeah.
because the people that on the side of the building, you walk next to the wall, where on the front, you have a buffer.
The hand mural, the multiple hands that are coming together and the heart, I have seen multiple times little girls that stand in front of it and stare at it for a long time.
Okay.
And then take pictures of it.
All right, so
So
let's forget it, let's hope for the best.
I do appreciate your concern, but also I have seen, like it's very interesting when you start painting Washington Park and you see the usage that it gets. So there are lots of younger children that they really like the hand and the hearts, and they take pictures in front of it. This, when it goes in the corner, kids skateboard from here to that side.
Right.
I know the traffic, and I think they're gonna love to see that eye level. I don't think this is gonna get done, but you never know.
Okay, so if we make a motion to approve these, then it would be with the new $12,000 figure. Would that be okay? So should we move?
Any other comments?
Any comments?
I motion to move forward with this project for the $12,000.
Somebody second?
We need to include that the city is going to paint the wall in this motion.
I sat down.
Okay.
Reduce 12K, the city himself, take the law, and not the city coordinator.
Could we have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? And I think we need to make a big deal out of this, so when we have the ceremony, we need to invite the community to be there. You know, we've been there to inaugurate the mural, and there's 10 people, and very few from the community. So I think this is Orange Glen High School and Escondido High School. They need to show their presence there, and I think the city maybe, Robert, maybe the city could actually get in touch with those high schools, make sure that they come to that ceremony. Let's get them involved.
Dominic,
Okay?
I think I'm over here. I think you did an excellent job. I know it was hard to come before us, but this is just your stepping off. Remember tonight that this is the beginning of your ability as an artist and a speaker,
Yeah.
and you're going to have a ribbon cutting.
Yes.
Yes.
This is just the beginning.
I want to thank you, all your commissioners, for your support during the past multiple years that we have done. And it's life-changing. Like the girl that did this now, she won second place in the Escondido Arts Foundation. She's a star student on Wednesday. She's graduating. She did 3 AP portfolios. So you have no idea how important your support is painting these. And here's an idea. Why don't we have a show for Dominic when it's his ribbon cutting, just open air, 99 pieces is as hardworking as some other people that we do here.
Sure.
But thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. I do apologize because sometimes I fight back, but it's for the students.
Thank you.
Appreciate,
So
duly
all your
noted.
time.
Thank you all for all you do.
Dom, I'm looking forward to seeing your other art as
Thank-
well.
Thank you for coming to speak to us in person, Dominic.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
I'd like to make one more comment.
Please do.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to give you a big thank you to my mom. She's out in the seats.
Hey, Mom.
That little woman made me. Thank you so much for having me.
Dominic, one last thing. It's over here, it's Carol.
Yes.
I think I met you at Love Esco, and I have one of your stickers proudly displayed on my laptop.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mother.
Thank
Very
you, folks.
nice.
Okay.
Thank you for having me, folks.
We need to move on, guys. It's very late.
And just for the record, that was approved 7-0.
Wanted to
Thank you.
Anne Marie, may I say something really quickly? You know how you asked about the cars parking? On page 49, in front of the books, it'll be
Oh, yeah.
wall. On
Does it
page
show it?
49, it shows the parking, and it's not going to obscure it.
It's only going to cover a little bit, not a lot. Is that the way the cars are parked right now, diagonally?
I hope so.
Okay. And the cement square is at the end.
Correct.
Right in front, right behind the black car. Okay. All right, we only have 2 more things, Robert, mural policy, and then the meeting schedule.
I think we have that other mural that,
No, we only recommended 1.
we didn't recommend the one on the, oh,
No, we did not.
it was nice.
It's too much money. We actually thought the kids would enjoy, the students that skate there and all of that would actually relate to this one more so than the little fishy. All right, mural policy update.
All right, mural policy update, here we go. We're going to punch out these last couple of spots.
Okay, 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
We need to stop doing these long meetings, let me tell you. Okay. All right, so really quick background information. The initial policy document was created in June of 2021. While some additional work and updates were included, they were not officially approved. So at the January 8, 2024 meeting, Commissioner Velasco expressed an interest to update the mural policy. And then on February 27, 2024, the mural subcommittee met to discuss updates to the policy. There were several members of the public that were present and shared their opinions as well as we continue to work through the policy document. So a couple of things as we kind of move forward here that we want to take into consideration. Jennifer talked about the public art master plan is currently in process. That's something that we want to take a look at. That members of the public have provided substantial and valuable input. They will continue to do so. And that the mural policy update may take several more subcommittee meetings prior to having the document ready for review and approval by the commission. And then finally, the mural subcommittee recommends placing a moratorium on accepting any additional mural applications until a formal process has been approved. So that's kind of where we're at with this. And so what we are requesting is that the Public Art Commission approve a moratorium on accepting new mural applications until the park solicitation process and policy have been formalized. So that's where we are at with the mural policy. I've been working very diligently with Commissioner Velasco, Commissioner Paul, and Commissioner Ryan on the mural subcommittee to ensure that we are pushing forward as quickly as possible, and this is not something that's going to sit out there for 6 months to a year. Of course, we do not want that to happen. I understand that art is very important. Our mural program is very important to the city of Escondido, and so we are going to forge ahead as quickly as we can. However, I do believe in the meantime, as does the subcommittee, that placing a moratorium on the acceptance of applications would be in our best interest. So we are not dealing with accepting new applications in the middle of trying to figure out an appropriate process. So.
And we kind of agree on that during the subcommittee. So I don't think this is are we voting on this?
Yeah.
We have to.
Yeah, right to do the moratorium.
Yeah. And to clarify, the reason why we're going over the mural policy is because we discovered quite a few loopholes, and we were having problems with the community because there was not a clear process. So this is really needed. We shouldn't push it to make it, quickly. It would be a document that will stay with us. So yeah. So if discussion and then we need a motion.
Yeah. Anne-Marie, I know time is really short. Is it possible for us to have one more mural committee meeting at the next week? Because I know decisions are coming out from City Council about who's staying on the commission.
If I'm not back, can I give input?
Or
No,
Heidi.
not anymore. Actually, it's
2 out of 3 of us.
3, 4.
Right.
I
So
don't think all of us are not coming back, but there's a possibility that some of us may not.
Do you still have mural applications pending?
no.
We have no mural applications pending at this time.
In
That was part of the reason for this is that I placed this item towards the end after we approved all of the other murals that were already in the process.
So then why you're concerned about one more meeting before the next meeting?
I
Because
totally
we're-
understand that. I'm concerned, we have worked so hard, and there's such great knowledge here that takes a while to develop. Takes a long time to get to this place.
So I think what you're saying is a subcommittee, a mural subcommittee meeting just to go over the document, the policy, and see if we can move it forward. But right now we're voting on this. And I have to tell you the city council during our interviews showed quite a bit of interest in showing other type of art, so maybe moving into sculptures, and so putting a moratorium on mural for a short while, hopefully a couple of months, 3 months or so, it would be okay, I think.
And your questions are well taken care of. I mean, they really are. I'm just concerned 2 of the 3 members are up for reappointment.
I agree with you, and you worry a lot about handing over the baton. I hear you. The worst thing that could happen to us is to have our commission turned over like that.
Robert, do you have Google Docs? Do you guys work with that?
In general, the city does not necessarily work with Google Docs. Some individuals and some do in the city.
That's a fast way to interact.
That is something that we can explore specifically for the subcommittee. However, please keep in mind that anything that we do does also need to be openly, publicly noticed.
Yeah, I would support another subcommittee meeting. So I will be gone, at least personally, the last week of March. And when are we getting the response from the city council regarding our seats? We don't know.
In April, although you can still have your subcommittee meeting, even if you have a moratorium on accepting applications. Is that what you're concerned? Like if you have a moratorium that you can't do after? Because that does not make it
Right.
meeting.
Until April, you're saying?
Yeah, but they're supposed to do the next interviews, the next council meeting, and then Zach said that they are supposed to do their appointments in April. But I mean, you guys could still be having a subcommittee meeting, even if you approve.
I'm just concerned that if I'm gone, then I won't.
If you wanted to meet sooner, I do have availability to meet with the subcommittee next week to, again, continue this forward. As I mentioned in the presentation, it's going to take probably several subcommittee meetings for us to really define a specific process. And so I would be happy to meet with the subcommittee, and we can publicly notice that to meet next week.
I approve of that.
Yeah, the first week of April looks really good, but I could make time for the next week also. So let us know when you're available.
In the meantime, is there any other questions, discussions?
So let's have a motion to approve that we approve a moratorium.
Now, I make a motion to approve moratorium.
Oh.
We come up with policies.
Yes.
I'll second that emotion.
Let's vote.
Motion.
Okay.
All right.
All right, approved by, or 7-0.
Together tonight, everybody
Yeah.
has voted exactly the same way. So, you just.
Everything's well thought out before it
Yes, Mr. Rhodes. All right, last but not least, meeting schedule.
Absolutely. So here's the last item that we're going to be talking about today. Commissioner Rogers asked about information about possibly meeting monthly. So this is the information I'm going to provide you. And so I spoke with the city clerk, and the city clerk sent over information or language specifically about the meetings for boards and commissions, and it does state, each board and commission shall hold regular meetings and special meetings as it may require. All meetings shall be open to the public and meet Brown Act requirements. Currently, the Public Art Commission meets 6 times per year, and the Public Art Commission has actually now 3 subcommittees that had 4 when I was putting the presentation together. But you can meet on the cadence that you would like to meet on, so that is entirely up to you. But please consider that, again, city staff do attend all Public Art Commission and subcommittee meetings, and that the fact that staff can be resource limited from time to time depending on the capacity, because we are to have meetings on a monthly basis and then sprinkle in there with the subcommittee meetings, it's a lot of time away for the staff to be able to do. Then also, if we're also talking about potential changes to the mural policy and forthcoming Public Arts Commission master plan, that may not necessitate an increase in meeting cadence. So we have a much more defined process. We actually have a guiding document in the Public Art master plan. In addition to that, as you all have been talking about tonight, there are 4 commissioners whose terms are currently expiring at this time. So basically what we're looking at is, this is mostly a receive and file. However, you do have the opportunity to increase the meeting frequency if you so choose. My recommendation, if you were to do it, would be to wait until after all of the appointments and or reappointments have taken place. So is this something that we can revisit in the month of May? That will be when the appointments have been selected for the Public Art Commission, and we can make an additional consideration at that time. But as of right now, my recommendation is to hold steady.
So I have to say that I asked that question at my very first meeting. And now that I serve on a subcommittee, now that I'm at my second meeting, and we have more support. We have you, we have Jennifer, things are happening. I don't think we need to meet every month. We're all meeting plenty and getting a lot of work done. It was just based on past history.
I support that. I remember when you mentioned it. It works well the way we have it today because it allows subcommittees then to meet, and there's time between one PAC and the next PAC to get things done. So I agree now that you see how things are processing, that staying the way we are seems to be a good system. That's my opinion.
I agree with my commissioner that spoke.
Also, if we do increase, for some reason, the meetings, then we have to change the standard. You can only miss so many meetings in an annual year, so that would have to increase the amount of meetings that you could miss.
That would be the responsibility of the boards and commissions meeting.
I think it's standard now, the bylaws of how many times you can meet. It's standard across commissions. Zach updated that a little while ago. I believe it doesn't matter like how many times you're meeting. It's just standard for if you miss this many meetings. Take a look. Do you like to see the look? Yeah. But I think there's just one standard across the board for all of them.
Yeah, funny thing about that is I did look it up, and it reads you can only miss 3 in a calendar year, which I thought was odd because we don't serve on a calendar year.
And that's 50% right there.
Yeah, right.
So it changes. I just wanted to point that out, that it would make other changes happen.
All right. Liaison, you've done a lot of reports, Robert. You're done.
You know, as we continue to go
Good
forward,
luck.
I know we're approaching 7 o'clock, folks. And
Yeah, we need to-
absolutely 100% appreciate you being here for that length of time and sticking in with us. So as we continue to move forward through these meetings, my hope is that we'll be able to condense them a little bit more. A lot more processes will be in place, more decisions will be made. But these are all like really important in a short period of time. So thank you.
If you do you have anything else to? You already reported. Yeah, I have a subcommittee and commissioner update. Quickly talked on the phone with Grand Prestos today, which are the ones that will paint the Palomar mural. According to Oscar, he is submitting today. You should have received the contract, the insurance, and the business license today, if not tomorrow. Okay. They are still shooting for March 25th to paint when is the school is closed. And that they expect a deposit of 20%. They requested 20%. It's less than what we had in the mural policy.
And that's fine. It's what they need to do though is we cannot issue any type of payment until we've received a signed contract, their insurance, their business license. I was in communication with Oscar last week and shared all of that information with him. So the ball is in their court. We are just waiting for them to submit all that information to us. And once that happens, then we can move forward much quicker. But I cannot, city rules prohibit me from starting the process or issuing any type of payment until we have.
No, yeah. But do you think it's reasonable if you get all this taken care of that they can start paying on the 25th? By the way, everybody, this is 2 years since we started working with Palomar, and it's not on the city; it's on Palomar because they took a year to answer. But is it reasonable if we get all the paperwork in?
If I had all the paperwork tomorrow, it's potentially reasonable.
You take it-
However, the city does not move quickly. However,
Really?
I have been known to be able to move things forward a little bit faster. So I can't promise anything, but I can say that I will do my best.
Marie, I have to tell you, you had this vision for quite a while.
I know.
You were tenacious, you held on, and you went through different situations that were pretty negative. You never gave up. So thank you. I applaud you for doing a wonderful job. Wonderful job.
Hopefully I'll get to see it. Future agenda items, if anybody has anything to add to the next agenda, I think we can wait. I'm still a commissioner until I hear that I'm not, right? So I have some things that I wanted to propose quickly. One of them is changing the flags on downtown Grant. I want you to think about it. They've been there for the past 7 years. They have the faces of different military or personnel or veterans that have been there. And maybe it's time to put some art into those flags. So anyway, just to bring it up as a possible discussion. No, this is not an item.
No, I thought they took those down.
Are they
But
down?
we don't want to have a conversation about this. We don't want to continue this
No, okay.
meeting forever.
So next okay, we need to go home. That's it. Okay.
I think it's.
I have a question on the budget. Are we at that point?
So the liaison report, I gave everybody just a very small packet. The first item in there is the tracking sheet for all the projects that we do currently have going on and what their status is so far. So you should be able to see that. The next item that is in there is information about Esco Alley art, even though alley is spelled L-I. Did that. But you should be able to see what that looks like as far as what the year-over-year visits look like. What we do is we work with a company called Placer.ai, and they can actually track people in a specific or given zone. And so we requested information because the commission had asked last meeting about information on Esco Alley art to be able to provide that. And so that's what I've done for you. So last year, in 2023, there were 29,000 visits, a little over 29,000 visits. We are able to go back a couple of years, so that is up by 28.5% from 2022. That's up by 45% in 2021, and that's up by 2022. And then the 3-year overage is 123%. So it's pretty substantial. And we can provide that information for you on a yearly basis, so you'll be able to continue to see that going forward. So this is the technology nowadays is really great. So I'm sure everybody has a cell phone, and when it asks you whether or not you want the app to be able to track you, this is why they use that tracking information. It's general aggregate data. It's metadata. It's not anything that's specific to you or your personal information. Basically, what it's looking for is a geolocation. And so what it also shows, if you look at that, it shows the average amount of time you actually spend in that space. So in the space for alley art, the average amount of time that people spend is about 50 minutes. So I think that's pretty incredible. Yeah.
And they included publicity at the last one. So I think that also paid off, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, they spent about $2,700 for publicity. So, yeah. And you have events, and you have food, and of course, if you have food, people come.
People come.
Thank you. I
And
think
then
that
the last item, because I know that Commissioner Rogers had asked about the finances, so that last item right there is the capital projects balances, but please keep in mind that's as of December 31st, 2023. Unfortunately, our finance department is behind in noticing these, so now that we're currently at March 11th, they are supposed to be issuing a new one very shortly. So we review it on roughly a quarterly basis. So this is an old information, but I still wanted to provide it to you specifically. Now, you do not have control over all of this, all of these funds. There are certain funds that you will have control over, and certain funds that are staff-driven. But this is the entire public art fund that's right here.
Thank you so much.
I don't
So,
know what those are.
really fast question, pedestrian pathfinders, what is that?
I don't know what all of them are.
I can explain that. There's no definition for that project. We already asked that 2-3 years ago.
Okay, and maintenance, public maintenance program,
That's-
public art, that's another mystery?
No, that is what we've been fighting for. But I think, yeah, we can come back to that
Okay.
at the next meeting.
I can place that on, specifically on the agenda for next
Yeah.
week to talk about the finances. I think that might be very helpful.
We need to have that.
And Robert, if you could explain too for the next time about the Queen, that the money that was there and then it disappeared, and we don't need to talk about it now, but just want an update on that.
They reallocated some money.
Yeah, I think there was
For the next,
$750,000 there, and now it isn't.
Now, are you talking about
For the,
for the special event space?
yes,
Okay, that special event space, I can tell you that now. That money is actually reallocated as a part of ARPA, and that was done at one of the January meetings of City Council. So that money was completely reallocated to something else.
yeah, I understand where we are. Thank you.
Are we going to learn about the 2000, it's me here, the 2018 maintenance budget that disappeared?
well, no, it didn't disappear. If you see it here, it's back, isn't it?
Oh, it's back, okay.
Well, yeah, but we can discuss that and put it for the next one, for the next meeting.
All right, thank you.
I'll place it on the agenda for next time.
Maintenance,
We'll dive into the
is
finances
here.
much more at the next
Yeah.
agenda.
Okay.
I promise, this is going to be my last question. Should we be identifying ourselves before we speak?
I've asked this with Zach, and it's so difficult with you. I mean, it's appreciated, but you're not, I mean, no other commissions do. It's-
Okay.
So you're not off.
Okay.
I mean, it's appreciated that you do, but
Yeah.
it gets a little difficult to go back and forth with you all.
All right, everybody, it is 7:08. This has been the longest meeting.
No, I think the last.
No? We left at 6. We left at 6. I disagree. Okay, 7:08, this meeting is adjourned.